All right, 9-5. So we learned quadratic formula. Don't get stressed out about that. The more you do it, the faster it goes. Start out slow, take your time, go from there. I want to talk a little bit about helping you out with that and making sure that you don't do extra work if you don't have to. So the way that we can do that is by doing 9-5. So we know that a one solution graph looks like this, where we hit the y-axis. I don't know why this is not moving. I don't know what's happening. Okay, okay, I got it moving. So we know that one solution looks like this, where it hits the x-axis in one spot. And two solutions looks like this, where it hits the x-axis in two spots. And no solutions looks like this, where it hits the axis in no spots. So we know that, and that's important. If we were going to figure out, using math, if I even need to continue, if I have a no solution, or if I need to continue, I can do that with something called the discriminant. Unfortunately, the Smart Notebook's not responding. I'm going to come back. Okay, if I look at this, the discriminant is just this spot, just this stuff underneath the square root symbol, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the numbers in an equation, and so here's number 1, 2, and 3, all worked out, and I'll show you that in a second. But I'm going to look closely at that, and I'm going to decide if I even need to continue. So if I've got a negative number under there when I do the math, like I did in number 1, I know that it's a no solution. So I don't need to continue at all because I can't have a negative under the square root. It can't be equal to a negative, okay? If I have 0, on the other hand, underneath, and you don't necessarily have to write down all of this stuff. You just need to know this part over here, okay? If I have 0 underneath for my discriminant, I know that I'm going to have one solution. So I am going to have to continue and do the rest of the quadratic formula, okay? If I get a positive number, 1 or higher, I am going to have 2 solutions, and I need to continue doing the quadratic formula so that I know that I will have what those 2 solutions are, okay? And so what does this look like? If I'm looking at the discriminant equation, I am going to look at just this part. I'm not even going to take the square root of that. I'm just taking what's underneath the square root, b squared minus 4ac, and that's equal to d. D stands for discriminant, okay? So I've worked out 2 examples here for you. I'm just going to talk through them so that we don't take the time of me working it out again. This equation wasn't in ax plus ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 form. So I had to solve it to get it that way. Number 2 is, and so I can read off my a, b, and c, but number 1 I had to solve first, okay? One more reason you don't want to do that, right? So first thing I do is I identify my a, b, and c. That's a given whenever we're doing the quadratic formula. Then I'm just going to take b squared minus 4ac, and I'm going to figure out what that equals. So I've got to do my square first, so I get my 25. Then I have to do this multiplication. Remember, this is a negative 4. So negative 4 times 4 is negative 16, times 3 is negative 48. 25 minus 48 is negative 23. I have 0 solutions. I can stop. I don't need to continue. So if you did write this in your quadratic formula, as soon as you get a negative number under there, Just write no solution and you're done. Okay? If you are to get a positive number, like I did over here in example 2, I got a 1. So if I got a 1, I would break up my quadratic formula and do the opposite of b plus my square root of 1 all over 2a. In this case, it would be 4. And then I would do my opposite of b, which would be negative 11 minus my square root of 1 all over 4. Okay? So I would have two solutions. This is where I would know I have to separate them. Okay? If I would have an example where my discriminant is 0, I don't need to do that separation. I don't need to do the plus end and the minus end of the quadratic formula, and I can just stop there, figure out my solution for one of them, because the square root of 0 is always going to be 0, and so I'm adding nothing, or subtracting nothing. So I can just figure out one of them, and then I will have my single solution. So this is just a crutch, a little help for you to figure out, do I need to continue or not? Okay? Do your worksheet, and God bless.